So I've had two 8-figure earners. I have multiple millionaires. I met my first 9-figure earner, and it's all because of the podcast. The podcast is so powerful. It's like you're giving someone value, you're floating someone power. In exchange, they're giving you the opportunity to connect with them.
Welcome back to Unknown and Talented. My name is Jelan Abrams. Today I have Brendan Boyd. He is the host of On the Pursuit podcast, the CEO and founder of the pod agency. I call him the pod guest king. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. He gonna put you on game. But what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I first of all, I appreciate you having me on the platform. Second of all, I might need to take you on a road, bro. I need intros like that.
Hey man, I'm working on it. It's funny that like when I first heard about you, it was on Marvin Francois' podcast, and I'm just like, yo, this dude is sharing game, and then he's such good with like intros and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I gotta work on it.
Now, I appreciate it, bro. Now, I'm super excited. I'm happy that we can make it happen.
Yeah, yes sir. So pretty much pretty much tell the audience about yourself. Like I said, I've heard you on multiple podcasts. That's why I say the podcast guest and king. Every time I'm in my Apple podcast, I see your name pop up. So tell the audience more about yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So Brendan Boyd, digital media entrepreneur. I'm a podcaster. I'm a creator. And I have a pod agency. And basically with the pod agency, we help entrepreneurs and business owners get more exposure by getting them on more platforms. So we focus primarily on podcasts because that's where the attention is at right now. Strangers are giving, podcast episodes 20 to 40 minutes of their time, and they're doing it not necessarily because of the host or the guest. They're doing it because of the topic, right? So there's no other platforms that you can really go to right now that, a stranger is going to give somebody that they don't know 20 to 40 minutes of their undivided time. When you look at comparing to sites like TikTok, Instagram, you know what I mean? There's no other place you can go to get, even YouTube Shorts, right? There's no other place you can go that you can get, you know what? This is an interesting topic. I'm going to lock in. Oh, this person's cool. I mean, you just said it yourself. How you found me was on the podcast, right? So if you happen to scroll through Instagram and if I came up on your Explore page or down your feed, it may not have been the same amount of interaction because you didn't spend enough time with me on that platform, so podcast definitely does that for people. They just need to do more of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely listening to a podcast, you get to learn the person's story. Instagram, YouTube Shorts, like I said, it's a short. So you just like, you see it and say, okay, cool, and keep scrolling. And then I might not see you for, months on end, but actually having somebody on that podcast, you get to learn their whole story. So when did you learn that was so important?
I would say probably like 2018. I was back where I'm from in Boston. I might have been in my real estate office at the time because I was doing real estate. And I said to myself, I'm like, damn, I don't really know no high 6-figure earners that are not in corporate. I don't know any, millionaires. The relationships that I have are primarily like my friends, like, people that I'm working with. I don't really have anyone. I don't have any mentors. So I was like, well, how can I create, the opportunity to meet more people? And I was like, I'm going to just start doing YouTube interviews. So it wasn't even a podcast. I was just doing YouTube interviews. And I realized that the more people I asked to do an interview, they just kept saying yes. So after about the second or third one, I was like, man, well, let me ask somebody that I actually want to interview or learn something from. And I just kept asking like founders, business owners, investors, and they were all saying yes. Fast forward, I moved to LA like June of 2019. And then when I get here, it just kind of dawned on me that what I'm doing is podcasting. Nothing really changed. It's just like a light bulb just went off in my head. I was in a different environment, so I just had some different thoughts. And then at that point, I was like, oh, okay, this is a podcast. So I just rebranded it. At that time when I was in Boston, the podcast was called, well, not podcast, but the interview series was called Service Only. And then when I moved to LA, I changed the name to On the Pursuit Podcast. And I just continue to intentionally invite people that I wanted to learn from or connect with to come on the show, and no one's ever said no.
So speak more on that intentionality of getting someone that you want to learn from. Because when you have a podcast, it's easy to get anybody on there. When somebody finds out you have a podcast, like you said, that's the spot for attention. Everybody wanted to hit you up and get on that podcast.
Yeah. So I've had 2 8-figure earners. I have multiple millionaires. I met my first 9-figure earner, and it's all because of the podcast. The podcast is so powerful. It's like you're giving someone value. You're floating someone power. In exchange, they're giving you the opportunity to connect with them. It's like the ultimate networking tool. In my opinion, everyone should have a podcast, whether or not you decide to grow it to something that can monetize, and it could be like, something that could actually generate revenue. Or if you're literally just utilizing it for a networking and building tool, everyone needs to have a podcast in their arsenal, in their business as a side project, as a side hustle, in my opinion, because you're going to be able to connect with whomever you want. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, Jason Fladlin is interesting. He did over $500 million on webinars, right? Through affiliate marketing. I'm like, I want to meet him. Guess what? He said yes. I said, hey, Jason, what's going on? My name is Brendan. I got a podcast, man. You got an interesting story. I would love to have you on. So they're not saying no, because you're giving them the opportunity to talk about themselves, talk about their business, talk about their story, products and services, maybe promote something that they currently have going on or something that might be coming out in the future. It's just extremely powerful. And a lot of people are not, that it's not clicking for them yet. Like they're not seeing it. And literally you can use this for so many things. And it creates instant value for you. So if you want something that's going to create instant value to get you in rooms, whether virtually or in person, to allow you to start conversations, to network at a higher level, not only it will create content for you long form, it create content for you short form. You can do the clips. You can redistribute this. It's just so much that you could do with it. It's an extremely powerful platform. And you're on the Riverside. I don't know what else you got going on your end, but think about this. You could use the free Riverside account with your phone and laptop. You got a podcast, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you could literally start with a free tool. You don't got to get the heavy cameras and the mics and all of this. You don't need a mixing board. You don't need all of that stuff. You don't need a light kit. You don't need tripods. You can literally use your phone and or laptop, a software like Riverside, the one we're using right now, and you can start getting busy. You want to connect with somebody in Japan? I just told you what you need. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, extremely powerful.
Yeah. No. I love that how you said you can connect with so many people. But I just want to go back because I don't want to miss this part. You said you had 9-figure and 8-figure earners on your podcast. I have a podcast now. How is that happening?
How'd you get me on the podcast?
Just asked.
There you go. There's your answer. You just gotta ask on a higher level. Just ask on a higher level. Sometimes your ask might be met with some resistance, but that resistance isn't a no. It might just be scheduling. It could be logistics. It could be because you need another introduction. Maybe you might need to do an interview with a mutual, person that you and that person knows. You know what I mean? Here's a cheat code. If you are, let's say you're a speaker, let's say you want to connect with a celebrity. What I would do is I would interview let's use a speaking person. I would interview the person on my podcast that has the keys to book me at that event. I would have the celebrity's best friend or the celebrity's agent or the celebrity's handler on my podcast to build that relationship, right? And you can literally build a podcast around the unknown people. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast. We interview the known unknowns, the people that are really getting, the people that in the places that you see them. Today's episode, I got Jelan on. Hey, man, listen, how'd you get Kevin Durant at the such and such? Now your whole podcast can literally be the people behind the people. And guess what? Those people now know who you are. You can build a podcast that literally helps you get on stages by interviewing all of the gatekeepers of the stages, the one that have access to the budgets. Your whole podcast can be built around that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's funny how you said that. So it's actually Jelan. Just so you got
Oh,
it right.
Jelan, my
But
fault, my fault.
yeah.
My fault,
No, you're
Jelan.
good. You're
Appreciate
good. No, you're good. No, but it's funny how you said that because I recently had Marvin Francois that I seen at InvestFest. I had him like on a little short interview, and then I got a DM like somebody that I followed already. He was like, "Yo, I'm trying to get on your podcast." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool." So.
That's how it works.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about now though as well is you also talk about networking is right. So like how you talk about talking to the person that might not be the biggest but might be somebody else in their team. Because basically how I got you on the podcast, I reached out to you DM like you said scheduling might not work. It's like yeah I'll do it, but then when I actually saw you at VestFest, you're like all right this is the second time I'm seeing them. Now I'm seeing them in person. Now I'm gonna come on the show. So to speak more about the importance of networking and going to events like that.
Yeah, man. I heard Donnie Wiggins say it today on an Instagram post. And I don't want to misquote her, so I'm paraphrasing. But she said something to the point where it's imperative that if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're someone thinking about going to business, you need to have in your intention to hit events. Events is probably going to be the number one way for you to network, build relationships, get clients, have that second or third and maybe even first touch point, float value. And in some cases, depending on what your product or service is, you might be able to do some business at that event. You know what I mean? Plus get content. So going to events are major. You know what's even better than going to events? Creating your own event series, which is something that we'll probably talk about as well. But you definitely want to do that because, again, like just like the podcast, you have a platform. You can leverage that. Hey, listen, come, be a part of my event. Come collaborate on my event. Come speak at my event. It's like once you go to these events, and again, another cheat code when you go to these events, don't buy the cheapest ticket. Buy one of the most expensive tickets so you can be in the environment with the movers and the shakers, right? So now you can end up, becoming some friends or planting a seed or having somebody on your podcast or maybe doing some content or maybe someone at a higher level needs your product and service. So you don't got to worry about haggling with, a client that is trying to get your prices down. You're going right for a client that is like, yo, that's all you charge? Here's a one pay. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be in those spaces. What else happens when you're in those spaces? Some people see you, right? Now, when they see your association with some people that are in that space, it automatically levels you up. It puts you next to that person. So I got pictures of him 500. I got pictures with me and Neo. I got pictures with this person. I got pictures with that person. So now the association, whether or not y'all are fully locked in, whether or not you might be in that person's coaching program, whether or not you just seen them and took a picture. Maybe you even paid for the picture. It don't even matter. No one knows how you got the picture. But the association that you get and the level of cachet that increases with your actual value to the marketplace will always result into you doing some business, or you'll start getting those text messages and emails and DM. Man, you're moving, yo. You're going crazy. I see your growth. I see acceleration. And that stuff compounds over time.
So what do you say to the person that's saying, yo, instead of going to the rooms, I just want to find everything on YouTube? Because a lot of times these events, they find so much stuff on, they have, for example, we just went to InvestFest. You talking about buy the most expensive ticket. A lot of people said, I'm going to wait until they have the live, the virtual ticket so I can find everything that way. What do you tell that person that's like, I'm not spending that money?
What I say to that person is, do you like being broke and staying where you are? I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it and I don't want to make it sound sweet. I probably would have swear, but I'm on your platform. I don't know the rules. But what I would say is we have a problem with thinking too small, operating in a space where we don't know nothing about. And that will keep you broke. It will keep you around the same environment. It will keep you around the same friends. And it'll take you much longer to get to where you want to go if you keep moving and thinking the exact same way. The problem is people look at spending money on events, spending money on programs, spending money on mentorships as an expense and not an investment. But for some reason, you look at that bag you want or those shoes you want, as an investment, or you don't have no problem with spending that money on those things. But if you start changing the way that you're looking at spending the money, you know that when it comes to you, you're the most valuable thing. You're not wasting the money. You're not spending the money. You're investing the money. And sometimes spending the most for something changes the way that your brain processes transactions. You know what I'm saying? Like when I do Uber, I don't do Uber X, bro. It gotta be Uber Electric or Uber Comfort. Yeah, I'm gonna pay a little bit more bread, but like I don't want a danky ass car picking me up. That's not how I want to roll to the spot.
I feel like,
you know what I'm saying? Like even I got friends that only do Uber Black. I don't necessarily do Uber Black because, to me, in my opinion, I haven't seen the value of Uber Black yet. Aside of just pulling up in a black car, but I haven't been in the Uber Black where the experience blew my mind. So for me to pay 3x for Uber Black at this moment doesn't make sense. But I'll pay for a Tesla. I'll pay for an electric whip. I'll pay for like a hybrid or a comfort level vehicle, because I can tell that difference. They got the charging porters in the back. The vehicle primarily new. It's clean. Those drivers are a little bit more friendly. They're talkative. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do that vibe. So when you actually start spending more money, it just puts you in different environments, and that's where you want to go. If you stay in your environment too long, you become that environment, and then you start to become blind to what you're actually experiencing, and you think what you're doing is regular when it's really irregular. Being broke is irregular. I ain't trying, like, that's irregular. You might be used to, what you're doing, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it's time that you grow out of that.
Yeah, and I like that, but I kind of want to move on the other side of it. So we talked about being a person at the event. How about being the person creating the event? Because now you have an event, Black Podcasters. I might got the name wrong. Say the name of it.
Yeah, the Black Podcasters Tour.
Black Podcast Tour. So talk about that. What have you learned of? Is this your first event?
No, I've done events before. This is my first tour.
Okay, first tour. So talk about that. So what have you learned about going to? You say go to 3 to 4 events a year. What have you learned about being a person at the event? Now you're being, you're creating your own event and actually a tour actually.
Yeah. So what I learned as an attendee is like so many opportunities. Like you mentioned earlier, you and I linked at the event. So what happened was that made it more real. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might be in a DM, and I'm not saying you can't get things done in the DM. You can't get things done on social media. You can, but sometimes it just becomes more real when you're actually in the presence of someone. You're like, oh, yo, I was talking to you in the DM, bro. It's like things move faster because you're more real. You're more tangible. Yeah. So, like I said, like, think about this for authors. If you're an author, right? You go to an event, bring your books. People at the event looking to spend money. They're looking for opportunities. You can sell books, right? You can promote your whatever you have going on. You can promote that book. You can get testimonials. You can get pictures. You can get videos with everybody, right? You can start going from table to table if you're in the let's say the vending area or whatever, the marketplace. Maybe there's somebody there that has a business that could align with your business. You know what I'm saying? You go table to table, meet people, build your email list, build your text message list. Utilize the environment to create content that you can run as ads. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's content that you're going to be intentionally running as ads, or it's call to action sales type of content that you might just post. Then you're going to be on a speaker side. Maybe there's a gym. Maybe there's a segment. Maybe there's an individual that's going to give you some information that's going to unlock one thing, because we all just need one thing to help us get to that next level, right? You can't do that if you don't attend these events. Whatever industry you're in, you need to research what events are in that industry. Who the heavy hitters in that industry? Go to those events that these heavy hitters are speaking at, and make it an intention to meet that heavy hitter. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone's at events to meet people, to network, to build, to do business, to engage, to transact. You know what I mean? To level up. So you're just putting yourself in an environment of people that are thinking like you, thinking higher than you, want to go to that next level, possibly want to go to a level where you want to go, or beyond. And now you're in that space intentionally with these folks. You're not around your friends. You're not around your family. You're not around your gym partners. You're not around, that guy that you're seeing or the girl that you're seeing that don't have the same type of like ambition that you might have. You're literally around people that are that want that next, or may even have you thinking greater. You know what I mean? You may not have even thought about something that they said that's regular. Like, damn, I could get 6 figures in a day. That's crazy. I never even heard nobody talk like that. You won't hear that unless you're in certain rooms, So that's why I recommend find, some of the top level events in whatever category that you're in right now. Google that, YouTube it. If you're not really sure, write in the event name plus recap video. There's always some recap videos around, and just see that vibe. You know what I'm saying? And then book, earmark that, and then book yourself at that next, whenever the next event is.
Mm-hmm. And then, but the Black Podcast Tour, what is that about?
Yeah, so the Black Podcasters Tour, man, it's a multifaceted tour. So it's actually genius, and hopefully people that are paying attention, watching this or listening to this, you're going to take notes, because I don't mind giving this away. I'm literally doing it in real time. You can actually hit me up on the DM later and say, hey, listen, I copied your framework and I'm running it, or I'm planting the seeds. I would want you to. So basically how it works is this. This is what I thought, right? So I'm in a digital marketing space. I understand digital products, right? I understand podcast monetization. I understand podcast growth, right? I understand how to monetize online. I have a lot of knowledge, right? I got a pretty good skill set, and I continue to level up my skill set because I continue to invest in myself. So I said, instead of me just doing one-off events here and there, why don't I put a tour together? I go to a new city every month, right? And not only am I going to do a workshop so I can educate, basically give people the information that I pay 6 figures for, right? Do some workshops. I can add the movers, the shakers, the thought leaders, the entrepreneurs, the business owners in a particular city. I'll bring them on the platform, make the event more about them. I'll still add in my stuff, charge people to come out, or you can do it for free, but there's always a VIP option. Get paid from that, get the content from that, redistribute that content outwards, right? While I'm in that city, do a speaking engagement out of college, get another bag from that. I got a podcast, do a live podcast, potentially get a bag from that. Guest on a podcast, and then document the entire thing. So now it touches on 5 key points, right? And then take it a step further and pitch corporate sponsors to sponsor the entire tour. Now the idea that I have is being corporate sponsored, it's being covered as a show. I'm creating content in real time. I'm teaching and educating. I'm getting paid to teach and educate, right? I can test out my public speaking, even on that next level. I'm going to college. I'm getting a bag from them, right? I'm shooting my podcast and I'm guesting on podcasts. So now I'm putting out and I'm getting exposure. And then the whole thing's being documented.
Dang.
And I'm not waiting for someone. I'm not waiting for somebody to book me. I'm setting the whole thing up myself, right? And even to take it a step further from that, I'm a real huge component, and shout out to Neil for this. He talks about, delegate and don't participate, right? So I say create, delegate, right? Elevate, and don't participate. So I took a course to learn about corporate sponsorships, how to land them, right? I'm reading a book right now about how to maximize events. So now I have the knowledge set. So I'm not going to implement it, bro. I'm going to hire somebody on Upwork that knows how to put together events, that knows how to go after corporate sponsorships. I know what I need now because I got the knowledge set. I'm going to tell them to read the material and go through the course just like I did. Plus with your current, hold on a second. Plus with your current skill set, right? Use that and then book these sponsors, take care of the event. Because you don't want to do that. I'm not a professional tour person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a professional events person. I know what needs to get done. But I want to spend my time in the areas so I can get paid the 10s, the 20s, the 100Ks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I know the framework because I took the course, I read the books, you know what I'm saying? I got the mentorship. But the implementation part, I'm going to hire for that implementation. So now I can spend more time in the areas where I need to be spending my time.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, the
love that.
tools may
Basically,
be
what you,
crazy, but I'm going where the people is at. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I love that because so basically this whole episode you've been talking about don't be afraid to spend that money. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid for something you're not strong at. Make someone else do it. So I love how you're always just saying spend money. So I did start off the episode by saying you are the king. Podcast guesting king. I gotta make sure I say it right. But I started off by saying that, but I didn't really explain too much about that. But explain. Well, I guess I'll explain why I call you that. So basically, you have the pod agency where you are getting people that are business owners, entrepreneurs on podcasts because that is where it is. So they have to know that, it's okay to pay you to get on these shows because they might be too lazy to go into Apple, go into Spotify and look for these shows. You're doing all the work for them. So explain more about that business.
Yeah, man. So pod agency, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail with the hammer on that one. So basically, what we're doing is we're looking for business owners and entrepreneurs who have a product and service, right? So it's proven, right? Because if you don't, it's not for you. All you need is to get more exposure. So we're gonna put you on platforms so people can know, like, trust you faster. They can know your story, how you make an impact, how you're influencing and helping people, how you're solving problems. And what that's gonna do is that's putting you on multiple platforms that didn't know you before. And now they're going to get to know you. So your edification is going to grow. Your searchability is going to grow. The know, like, trust is going to grow. Your findability is going to grow. So it's going to be easier for people to want to do business with you or get over that hump because you're going to be everywhere. And 9 times out of 10, depending on what space you're in, your competitor is not doing that. So if you stay ahead of your competitor, even if you don't have, by comparison, a more superior product or service, you'll win because you'll be in more places than your competitor. You're going to be the de facto go-to person in your category, in your marketplace, in your space, because they keep running into you. Podcasts, ad, content, email marketing, text message marketing. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is going to be, you're going to be the one that they see. So they can be like, man, this dude is, or this woman is, they're the superior in that space. They're the go-to. I keep seeing them. I keep running into them, right? So that's what I was saying. Then obviously you could take it to the next level by maximizing the exposure opportunities, but that's what you want to do. Most entrepreneurs, I would say probably like a high 85% of them, they don't pay attention to this piece. They're looking for customers. They're relying on word of mouth. They're relying on referrals. They're not in enough places where that can generate business and bring the business back to them. And that's the missing piece. Most entrepreneurs lack lead generation and they lack exposure. But these are the 2 number 1 places where if you're a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, this is where you need to spend your time. You literally can have no product, but get more exposure, start pre-selling and making money right now versus someone that has a product that nobody knows nothing about. They don't have no exposure and your product is done. You'll be sitting with the products and services. No one's going to buy because they don't know who you are or where you're at.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest part of word of mouth is a podcast. I just think about like music. They don't do it as often anymore, but I remember when somebody's putting an album out, they're doing all the media shows. They're doing Breakfast Club. They're doing Big Boy. They're doing Angie because they got to make sure their message is spread out. So this is definitely cool what you're doing. But what do you say to that person that's shy? They have a business, but I don't want to be on a podcast and talk to this person for 30 minutes because I might be shy.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great question. And because I knew that was such a great question, I created a product for that person. So we call that the Podcast Mastery Pack. So what the Podcast Mastery Pack is, it's to do it yourself. So you're going to get DM scripts, email scripts, text message scripts, even media scripts, so you can book yourself. We're also going to give you 2 virtual podcasts that you can go on so you can practice on your messaging. So you can practice on showing up. So you can practice on a platform, get exposure, but it won't be like huge exposure. You can, you'll just get a little bit more comfortable. You'll get some reps in. There's also a mini course, right? Talking about podcast guessing, maximization and optimization. And I also put together a podcast mastery booklet So now you're gonna get all of the gems in there, and that package is available specifically for the entrepreneur that may have some anxiety. They may be a little shy. They want to speak, but they feel like they got to get ready to get ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know those people that are like, I want to go to the gym with you, but let me go work out by myself for like 2 weeks, and then I'm going to meet you there because I got to get on your level. It's like, nah, you just need to take more shots. You just need to come to the gym and get it going. So we created our product just for that person.
I love that. So talk about on the other side, because you also help, podcasters make money. So talk about the other side. Like, you're getting, let's say you get 10 people on my show. How do I benefit from that?
You need the information, man. A couple of things I would share is, how many episodes of the podcast you have right now?
Right now, this is going to be episode 30, 31, something like that.
All right, cool. So think about this. You could do two things. Number one, you could literally take, let's say you took a summary, from each of the episodes. Something I learned from Brendan, something I learned from this person, something I learned from this person. It could be 40 things I learned from 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs that scared me. Let's say that's the title. You're going to take an excerpt from every podcast, turn that into a digital product, make all of us co-authors, go to Fiverr, take the transcript from each of your podcast episodes, turn that transcript into a book by getting it formatted, right? Get the graphic design cover done, and get the book copywritten to make sure that it's all aligned and everything. And while that's happening, you could be pre-selling the artwork and getting money right now, and all you did was purpose the content that you've already created. Maybe you're like, yo, that sounds like a lot. Okay, cool. Maybe go to episode 17. Maybe episode 17 for like 3 or 4 minutes, there was like some gems in there. You can run the exact same thing on just that part of that particular episode and create a digital product from that. Start monetizing that. 22 sales of a $47 product is your first $1,000, right? Second thing I would do, I always use this analogy of taking a flight, right? When you take a flight, there's economy and there's first class. Well, guess what? People in first class are willing to pay more for the experience and for the access. Well, how does that work for your podcast? Well, if I go to Spotify, YouTube, I can watch or listen to any podcast episode. But if I pay to be part of your podcast community, I can get access to, let's say, a weekly Zoom, Q&A with your guests, maybe some behind the scenes content. Maybe you're going to throw in whatever your specialty is in there. Maybe I get a vote on, what guests you're going to be interviewing next, right? And I'm paying $99 for that, or $49 for that, or whatever the case may be. You get 10 people, now your podcast is making $1,000 a month.
That's fire.
Right? And all you do is give me access, right? Another thing you could do is affiliate marketing. These products and services are already made. Matter of fact, you could be an affiliate from the Podcast Mastery Pack right now and get $500 every time somebody signs up. I already did the work. You don't got to fulfill nothing. You don't got to sell nothing. All you got to do is insert the commercials I've already created for you inside of your podcast audio and your podcast video. And if somebody purchases it, you're getting paid, right? So that's another thing people can do podcasts. They can look for affiliate products that are already done. Use your podcast to sell and market those products without you having to sell and market those products, right? Another thing that you could do is high ticket products, right? Maybe you got a coaching program. Maybe you got an accelerator. Maybe you have a core product, right? You can use this podcast to sell those products by making commercials for them and put them inside of your podcast. Or you could intentionally invite your potential client on the show, do a mini interview with them, and then pitch your product at the end of the podcast. There's just so many things that you can do to monetize your show. Another thing, one of my favorites, is also the VIP package. So somebody comes on your show for free, right? You can say, hey, listen, man, Jelan, I'm excited to have you on the show, man. This is going to be great. But before we start, I just want to let you know that you do have an opportunity to take advantage of the VIP package. What you going to say?
What's the VIP package?
Every time. So the VIP package is this, and this is in real time, y'all. He didn't even know I was going to say this, but this is in real time. So with the VIP package, we're gonna shoot a commercial for your product and service, put that in the podcast. We're gonna give you access to 4 to 6 clips. We're gonna do an email blast. We're gonna do a text message blast. We're gonna give you access to your files, right? And that's just $500.
That's
Or
genius.
you can just be on a podcast for free. Which one would you prefer?
That's genius. That's genius.
You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
So last week alone, I had 2 clients. One made $9K running the VIP package play. One made $4,200 running the VIP package play.
Dang. Jeez, I got nothing else to say. That's crazy. That's crazy. Cause it's funny because I've been studying you, so I've been studying like the affiliate links. So that's what I've been trying to start and doing. So when I went to InvestFest, my goal was talk to as many vendors as possible because they have products. So when I get them on my show, all right, I don't have any commercials. I don't have enough plays for that. So now, okay, I can put your ad in there. And we're good to go. So it's cool that you broke it down too. But yeah, I've been watching, but I've never thought about that VIP. That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, the VIP package is crazy, man. The VIP package is crazy. Trust me, man. It's an easy. This is the thing. You're just offering me something that I already want. I want the files. I want the clips. Yes, send me to your email list. Send me to your text message list. Yes. Oh yes. Put a commercial for my product and service inside of my episode. You're not asking them for anything that's outlandish. They want that. And the majority of your guests, they're not even gonna watch the whole podcast that they're on. So, you know what I'm saying? Just make it easy for them. Just give them clips. Yeah, bro. Listen, $500, you'll get access to your files. You'll get clips. You get this. You get that. You get this. And and we'll put a commercial in your episode. It's a no-brainer. Right. You know what I mean? Maybe no one's gonna. Maybe every single guest ain't gonna take it, but I'm pretty sure 30 to 40% of them will take it. Right? So What does that look like? That looks like you shoot 10 podcasts, 4 people taking it, 4 times 500 is 2,000. That's money you wasn't getting it because you wasn't offering a VIP package.
Yeah, and I'm doing a podcast anyway.
Let's do the math. So Jelan, I had 35 episodes. What you have? 35 episodes? 37 episodes?
I'm at 30 right now, but I got some I'm recording. So. Yeah.
You at 30, so 20%. Oh no, you at 30. So 40% of 30 is 12.
Gotcha.
So 12 times 500. 12 times 500. I think that's 6,000. 12 times 500. Yeah, look, $6,000.
That's crazy.
So 12 people out of 30 said yes. And that's if it was 500. What if it was 750? What if it was 300? That's money that you wasn't getting, right? So if you're a podcaster, you're starting a podcast, or maybe you've been moving and grooving for a while, you have not offered that, and then come back to me if you want to run it up. Let me know. But I would 100% take advantage of that immediately.
Yeah. No, that's fire. Now I'm definitely gonna put that in my notes, man. VIP package. That's what I'm gonna do. But I think we're pretty much close to the end of it. I'm writing all my notes and stuff like that. I do appreciate you coming on. I think I hit on all your businesses. Anything that I didn't hit on?
Nah, man, I think that's pretty good. What I would like to say is, obviously I got a podcast, the Honor Pursuit podcast. People, please definitely tap into that. We got the Black Podcasters Tour. It launches in LA on September 30th. We got the VIP on the 29th. Just go to blackpodcasterstour.com, blackpodcasterstour.com. We're going to be in LA, Miami, Boston, Providence, New York, Toronto, DC, Atlanta. We're going to Dallas, Houston, Arizona. Might even hit Chicago, right? I mean, my plan is to go to one place a month, but I mean, the way it's moving, we might end up hitting some more spots. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to see what it is. So head over to the blackpodcastertour.com. I'm pretty sure you're going to put it below. And if anyone wants to follow me or tap in, you can go to my Instagram, and it's Brendan Boyd. So ITS Brendan, BRENDAN BOYD. And yeah, bro, this has been great.
I appreciate you. Again, this is Unknown and Talented. I'm Jelan Abrams, Brendan Boyd. We'll see you next time.